Hey guys, welcome back to my series on how to make printables and templates step by step. So this is part of a playlist. They are short and sweet videos, but I wanted to sort of step you through the process of exactly how to make certain things that I sell on Etsy. So today we are talking all about... So here I am, I'm all logged into my template dashboard. And just so you know, I'm using version 2 versus version 1. If you want to upgrade to version 2, you can absolutely do so by contacting Template and they will definitely upgrade you to version 2. So I love the second version of Template. It has a lot of really cool functionality. I definitely recommend it. So let's jump in and make a wedding invitation. Now, I am going to make this design to be double-sided. And that is because typically wedding invitations they have a front and a back and they don't have sort of multiple pages. So I definitely want to be able to have that sort of double-sided functionality for my customers. So when they go to print it, it prints in the right order. So double-sided is definitely the best thing to do for invitations. Now I'm going to give my template a name. We have the option of inches, millimeters and pixels. Now there is a huge audience on Etsy for sort of like people in the US who are buying wedding invitations. I would say that's like at least 60% of the market. So I typically will make my invitations US invitation size, which is 5 by 7. So you can see this is already the default. We've got 5 by 7. We've also got orientation, so we've got portrait, landscape. I'm going to do mine as portrait today. Hit create. Beautiful. And you can see I've got my blank canvas just here. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add that back page. So now over in the right hand panel you can see I've got a front and I've also got a back. So let's jump into the front and design the front, make it all gorgeous. So if you are anything like me, you've probably been observing trends on Etsy and you can do this in a number of ways. Pinterest is a great way to sort of see what's trending. Keyword Dominator is another great one. Marmalade, eRank, there's lots and lots of amazing resources you can use to sort of see what's trending. Today I'm going to be making something which uses pampas grass and sort of all those dried leaves because that is a trend which is emerging. It was pretty prevalent in 2021, definitely going to continue into 2022, so that is what I'm going to be doing today. Now let's jump in. I have already uploaded my elements and I have bought a special license for these from the incredible Lana Eleanor. I will link her store below so you can access, because she has a special license for template users, so you can definitely buy her beautiful artwork and license it for template and then use it in your design. So I will link her below. You can see this one, it's gorgeous. It's all sort of dried with the roses and the colors and everything. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna scale that right down. And I typically find when I'm working, I like to use the scale function because obviously you can click it and you can grab the edge of it to scale it. But sometimes when you insert an image, typically if it's really high resolution, you won't get those boxes on the outside. So using the scale function in template, it allows you to tweak it very, very easily. So I'm going to go in and I am going to go Control C, Control V and copy that element so it's repeated down in the bottom corner. So we are always wanting sort of like a very minimal feel with wedding invitations. We don't want things to be overcomplicated. We want it to feel spacious and elegant and really just, I don't know, we want it to feel amazing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making it feel very, very minimal, but it has the design elements in there, so it obviously can appeal to the trend which is going on. But yeah, minimal is the way to go. Now I'm going to do all the text. So the very first thing I like to add to my wedding invitations is I like to add together with their families. And I like to add this above the names at the very top of the invite. And you can see in template, you've got those rulers which tell you when you've sort of snapped to the center. So that's really cool. I'm going to edge out this box a little bit and I'm going to change this font to, what am I going to change it to? I might change it to Railway. Now template is awesome because they allow like Google fonts in in templates. So you can go in and sort of turn on any Google Fonts, and it gives you a really great free library of fonts you can use in your designs, which are allowed in template. I am adjusting the letter spacing because typically when I am designing anything for weddings, it's nice to really, again, we want to be really invoking space and minimalism, and we want the designs to just feel really fresh. So I like to add that bit of space between the letters. Now the font is currently 12 point. So I am going to drop that down to 8 point, which is the smallest that I would ever go on an invitation, because that is sort of the minimum size that someone who's a bit older can read. If you can imagine, if you grab a can of baked beans and you turn over to the back and you look at the writing on the back, the size of that is 6 points. So that is terms and conditions size. It's sort of like the ingredient size on any packaging, and that will give you a reference. 8 point is a little bit bigger than that. So I will be going 8 point for my text today. And I'm going to center that. And I'm also going to adjust the line height. So again, we've got that nice sense of space, the space between the lines, the space between the letters. It's very easy to read and it just looks fresh. So now I'm going to add the names of the bride and groom. So let's go Sarah for the bride and Arnold. I really struggle to think of like new brides and groom names for all my invitation designs. We're going to use an ampersand in the center. Now, I am going to be using a font today, which is by Peach Cream. I have a special license for that font, so you do need to actually purchase an additional license to be able to use their fonts, but their fonts are so good. They are definitely worth the investment in like sort of paying for that extra license, because their fonts, they're just so good. So I'm going to jump across and I'm going to use one of their fonts. So I am going to be using Maison de Fleur. I hope I said that right. I think it's a French name. Probably didn't. And I'm going to, actually I might copy and paste these so it's easier. And you can see, you can see how that S is cropped off. To sort of fix that issue where we've got that big swooping text, all you have to do is add an extra bit of space at the end like that, so the S sort of sits in the text box, and then it'll be fine once it downloads. And that is something that your customers will sort of find as well, so it's a great thing to put in sort of the help guide that they download at purchase. Oh. So I am Arnold. I'm going to add the ampersand, add a little bit more space in that text box. And I typically make those ampersands just a little bit smaller. Again, it's a space thing. We really want to be having that feeling of just space and minimalism in wedding invitations. So I am centering that, and I'm not just centering it with the sort of that center pillar that template clicks to. I'm visually centering it as well, because we have a lot of other things in play. Beautiful. And I'm going to move it all up the page because we have more content to add. So we're going to add the line, request the pleasure of your company on their wedding day. And I just find that's a nice formal way to say it. It's nice to have that sort of line of text between the names and the date and sort of all the venue details. So I definitely like to put that one in. Now let's add a date. So I've just copied and pasted that script font. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because obviously when we are designing a wedding invitation, we want a really clear hierarchy. We want those names to just jump off the page as the first thing you see, and then all of the other details sort of fall in line behind that. So and something that I really like to do as well is I find those numbers on the end with the year, they look kind of a little bit ugly. Not to sound judgmental, but they do. So I like to sort of type out 2022. the year just below it, because I feel like it looks a lot more symmetrical and just adds to the overall appeal of the design. Now, there are a couple of things we need to include in the template, including time. So I like to write out the time as a full line. For example, if I'm doing 5 o'clock, I would go 5 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. Then we would put a space for the venue. So let's go Sunny Chapel. And we typically put that over 2 lines because a lot of the time we will have the venue as the first one and then the actual address of the venue as the second one. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, Stony Court. And then the last thing that I like to put on these is just reception to follow at the end. So I find that this is a really good sort of structure for the content. It sort of covers what most people need. And yeah, I love that. That's what I use sort of across all my invitations, and I find it works really well. So as you can see, this text is overlapping with some of those elements. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to gloss this over with a little bit of love and care and just sort of lay out the design so it's nice and even. Probably rotate this a little bit, just so it has that little bit of space at the bottom. Beautiful. And for me, that is done. So I would go ahead and mock that up now and then upload it to Etsy. So for me, that's finished. I hope this was a really helpful tutorial. I'm going to jump across back to the video now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was really helpful. Again, it's part of a playlist, so I will link that just here. And yeah, if you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. Maybe leave me a comment below. Let me know what to make next. Would love to hear from you. And I will see you guys soon.